From accusations of pandering for views,
he went from getting teenage boys to watch his videos to little kids,
to allegations of misinformation.
Trying to get attention for a situation that doesn't even exist.
Here are 8 of the dumbest attempts to cancel MatPat, starting with the time when the gamer from Mars, real name Arthur McDaniel, took jabs at Matt back in 2017.
I don't remember MatPat's Twitter ever being a gold mine, but since earlier this year, it's become really terrible.
Referring to Matt's social media posts going from dad puns to introvert humor.
Well, my guess is that another person is now running the Twitter account, and he's tweeting things that his audience wants to hear.
To which Matt responded by laughing it off.
No one's Twitter is a gold mine. Well, maybe Kim Kardashian's is a gold mine.
A reaction that was also echoed by his community. MatPat posts puns and jokes on his Twitter and just enjoys being silly. People, is this pandering? Arthur, however, was a man on a mission.
This is such a shift from his earlier videos where he always had scantily clad women in the thumbnails to try to get more clicks. Over the years, he went from getting teenage boys to watch his videos to little kids because he found out that that's where the money's at.
Making the point that Matt was changing his style in a desperate attempt to grow his YouTube channel. Some viewers agreed, while others felt Arthur was making a mountain out of a molehill. In response, the game theorists pulled up the numbers to debunk his theory.
We are actually, game theory is one of the oldest skewing gaming channels out there as far as viewership.
We have some of the fewest kids of any gaming channel.
Following their smackdown of his rant, Arthur would try and save face.
And just to be clear, I don't think literal babies are watching game theory. They're still on the Minecraft Let's Plays. I'm talking about an age group up from that. But then again, I could be wrong. I think this is just something that we're not going to see eye to eye on.
The community, however, was starting to feel worn out by Arthur's rants. Honestly, if MatPat is having fun making the videos, then I'm not too bothered with how they turn out. These remarks would convince Arthur to move on, and even though he has over 1 million subscribers as of 2025, many viewers agree that he's probably the most white bread type of YouTuber. Nothing he says or has an opinion on adds anything at all. But this wasn't the only time a gaming YouTuber would try to cancel Matt, as Pirate Software, real name Jason Hall, would attempt a similar attack on X in 2019, describing his feelings toward the game theorists after they reviewed a demo of Heartbound, his latest game at the time.
I'm excited about this game!
Yeah, I'm really excited about this too.
This
does definitely have an Undertale kind of vibe and also an Earthbound kind of vibe. Both of which are very much loved over here.
But despite this overwhelming praise, Jason held a grudge, which came to light when he tried to call Matt out on social media. Your recent GT Live came across as an Undertale clickbait mashup instead of being about Heartbound. You never linked our game, and you got our studio name wrong as well, making Matt a target for ridicule. The internet's iconic theorist, however, didn't go down without a fight. Your game is great, and by relating it to something similar that our audience already knows and enjoys, we're hoping to introduce them to it when they might not have checked it out if left with zero context. Despite the polite explanation, the community retorted again. Encouraged by these remarks, Jason also doubled down on his criticism. The problem here is the amount of tagging and aggressive linking led many of your audience to believe Heartbound was made by Toby Fox. This brought Toby, Undertale's developer, into the drama, who further backed Matt into a corner. Think carefully if you're misleading your audience with how you present your videos. You went too far this time. Instead of lashing out, Matt again took the high road, promising to improve his game reviews in the future, earning him support from some of the onlookers who felt that Matt got the short end of the stick mainly due to his influence. I bet they wouldn't have done this to a smaller YouTuber. This comment would age like wine, with Jason failing to complete development on his game as soon as he shifted his focus to streaming. Worse, the incomplete version has ended up flopping, leaving players upset, giving Matt the last laugh in this situation. Attempting to cancel game theory is like trying to disarm a bomb by cutting every single wire. Some attempts to disarm this bomb would also come from the public, like the Etika controversy, which saw an online crowd bring out the pitchforks against the game theorist.
Trying to get attention for a situation that doesn't even exist just so people start talking about it. That is so infuriating.
This situation being gaming YouTuber Etika's tragic death in 2019, which first made headlines a week after he uploaded his final video.
I was saying and doing things that made no sense. All because I was too scared to drop my image. The world will be better off without me.
This topic would come to light again 3 months later when Matt paid tribute to him during a media presentation. Etika may be gone, but we're trying to make sure his memory and his message aren't forgotten. The response to his tweet, however, was anything but positive. I would delete this post if I were you. Cancel culture didn't cause Etika's mental health did, with some also taking the opportunity to use Matt's iconic catchphrase against him, including gaming YouTuber Smash JT, real name Jeff Tarzia.
I truly enjoy what he does over on Game Theory, but that doesn't mean he's allowed to just go spout his mouth and say whatever he wants to corporate bigwigs about cancel culture. But hey, that's just a theory.
Nevertheless, Matt still had people in his corner. This sentiment was also voiced by a YouTube commentator who summed up the nature of the drama.
I just find it extremely ironic that in a conversation about cancel culture, the hate mob starts going after MatPat.
Matt, however, refused to engage with the hate mob, letting his actions speak for themselves when he entered politics 6 years later to continue empowering YouTubers. The online theorist was used to dealing with an angry crowd trying to cancel him, though, as he faced something similar back in 2016, when he triggered a gaming fandom in far less serious circumstances with this theory.
Well, what if we took it one final step and said that Sans happened to be Ness from Earthbound?
The now iconic theory stemmed from the idea that Sans, the Undertale character, has a secret identity, which he believed was Ness. Matt would support this theory by highlighting the similarities between the two.
Oh, and finally, Sans is only one letter removed from being an anagram for Ness. That's just a fun one. I thought it was worth mentioning.
Despite being a harmless take on a game character's origins, the Undertale community was enraged. Such was the collective hatred over his theory that Matt had to clear the air.
Now, don't get me wrong. Did I in any way think that this was canon lore to the series? No. Of course not. I didn't think that Sans is actually Ness, but at the end of the day, these are theories meant to get you to think about things from a different perspective.
Further sharing his feelings on the situation.
But the overwhelming negativity and ridicule that video got was just crushing. It sucked, man.
Imagine hating a YouTuber who puts true visible effort in their videos and loves their community. The backlash felt unjustified to the internet, with some offering their thoughts on the actual problem. This overly triggered fandom, however, failed to cancel Matt, as he continued to share his favorite Undertale theories despite the outrage. Over time, this outrage would give way to memes, with people using Sans is Ness to poke fun at Matt's hot take. Amongst these people would be Undertale developer Toby Fox, who used the meme to honor Matt's YouTube legacy in 2024. This conclusion to the now iconic drama came 4 years after another controversy that painted a target on Matt's back after he said,
You might think that Kirby's safe, but there are two problems. First, his eyes and mouth are so close together that the respirator sealing surface passes across his eyeballs.
This explanation was part of his theory video in March of 2020 when he discussed which video game characters would survive COVID-19. The topic, however, touched a nerve with many viewers. Imagine your grandmother dies of COVID, and you go on YouTube to see MatPat talk about video game characters dying from COVID. While many mocked Matt for his topic of choice, others pointed out that the content was mainly educational. Despite the fans' support, YouTube entered the picture, demonetizing the video as part of its policy. Matt, therefore, clapped back with a creative twist to his intro.
Am I not even allowed to call it by its name? Even though the news is talking about it constantly? Fine, we'll just have to use our imagination. Today's episode is inspired by the most viral topic that's sweeping the globe in 2020.
Highlighting his annoyance at the platform's absurd rules, with many viewers expressing a similar feeling. This issue wasn't the only thing weighing on Matt's mind, though.
He's the face of science as it relates to everything that's been going on about COVID-19 for the better part of the last year.
Referring to his interview with Dr. Anthony Fauci, therefore responding to the backlash by educating his audience on the pandemic. But not everyone thought Matt was doing good for the world, including those who accused him of supporting a terrible cause. Let's not forget this April that MatPat has done charity live streams for Autism Speaks, which is an autism hate group that condones curing autistic people, referring to MatPat's donation to a controversial charity that was notorious for spreading misinformation. This allegation, however, was swiftly dismissed by many on the internet. I like that everyone acknowledges his mistake, but not the fact that he tried to donate $200,000 to help with an autism charity, proving that Matt's heart was in the right place. A statement that was further stressed 3 years later when the accusation resurfaced. He didn't know what that organization meant, and it was years ago. After he was educated on it, he never raised money for them again. It was a genuine mistake that never happened a second time. Sure enough, Matt has no public record of donating to that organization again. But the Autism Speaks controversy wasn't the first time Matt was accused of supporting discrimination, with a similar incident taking place in 2013 when he tweeted one of his classic dad jokes. This tweet led to accusations of Matt intentionally mocking people of color, making some viewers wonder why Matt shared the meme in the first place. Despite the joke being a fun take on font styles, it was blown out of proportion, especially when revisited during the peak of cancel culture in later years. Matt, however, would constantly remind his audience,
But at the end of the day, it's all meant for entertainment, for fun, with the little dose of education on the side.
with the majority of the internet sharing this sentiment, which became clear from their reaction when a critic tried to cancel Matt for transphobia. But while Matt's throwaway remarks have often made him a target, there have also been instances when he was canceled for his fans' behavior.
I never wanted or intended anyone to bother real people, and it's never ever acceptable to harass an individual or a place of business. Period. End of story.
Describing his reaction to viewers calling restaurants in June of 2022 after watching his latest Five Nights at Freddy's theory.
So I hopped onto Google Street View to check out other details that the book mentioned, like the old cinema, which used to be a pizzeria.
Despite being just a theory on the real-world location of a fictional restaurant, some viewers, of course, took it too seriously. I work in a small diner in southern Utah, and we got 17 calls over my shift asking if we were Fazbears. I don't fault Matt for this event. I fault dumb kids who think they can solve this never-ending mystery. But this didn't prevent people from pointing fingers at Matt, who decided to have a word with his fans.
There is no lore, no interesting animatronic discovery that would be worth violating anyone's privacy or disrespecting other people in the real world or online. I hope that we can all move forward doing things that are this exciting, but more importantly, safe.
This video feels like MatPat saying, "Don't be an idiot," in the most respectful, patient way possible, a belief shared by Five Nights at Freddy's developer, Scott Cawthorne himself. These responses led to the community to draft rules for responsible clue hunting in the future. Meanwhile, the online theorist was also credited for his response in the face of backlash, making the FNAF drama yet another dumb attempt to cancel Matt over something over which he had absolutely no control.